Welcome to Aura POURA, where I take the energy of a person and translate it into color, movement, and paint on canvas. In today's video, I will be giving you an overview of my entire process using my own aura as an example. Before any of the paint touches the canvas, I start with an intuitive deep dive into the person's aura. I'm not just looking for color here, I'm actually tuning into their emotions and their experiences, the presence and the words and sensations that make them them. It's really about the way their energy expands and contracts, and all of that becomes part of the palette. You might be wondering, can you paint your own aura? And the answer is yes, although it's not the easiest. So to ground us in something visual, I went to a psychic night here in Brooklyn and had my aura photo taken with a camera. We're going to use that color palette as a starting point, and then I'll explain to you how my process unfolds. So here is my aura photo from Aura Cool. It is mostly pink, purple, blue, and a tiny bit of green. But for the most part, we're seeing like a lot of pink and a lot of purple. Not sure how this is translating onto the camera, but here we go. Aura cameras use their own technology, and how I see color might be different from somebody else. More importantly though, the meaning of each color is unique for every single person I paint. There are themes, yes, and some of them are universal. Red often shows up as passion or power, and blue tends to be a calming experience connected to nature, the sky, and the sea. But for me, the magic is in the combination of those colors, the hues, the light, the movement, the meaning, and the story. I have a full guide on my website of how I interpret color for each and every Aura POURA painting. See connectedintuition.com for more information. In my own aura, the strongest colors were violet and pink, with an outer ring of blue and just a touch of green at the very edges. According to the company that took my photo, violet means psychic ability. Well, spoiler alert, I'm a psychic medium, so that's not that far off. Pink for them means artistic, love-centered, heart-centric energy. Also checks out. When I look at violet, it's bigger than just psychic ability. It's also about courage and expansion. Pink speaks to the tenderness and vulnerability and love and youthfulness. And green for me is growth and healing in the heart. Blue can mean calm, but it also can mean a connection to nature or the ability to fly through the sky. There's a lot of different meanings to blue that are specific to the person. Once I understand the aura, I choose the colors directly from what I'm sensing. So the hue of it, the metallic quality, the saturation, the dominance of what that's going to be on the painting, all of that I work through. And I make those colors match what I have in paint. I think about how they're blend for sure and how they react with each other. So sometimes if I'm saying pink, it might be several pinks mixed together to get the movement or the feeling I'm trying to portray. Every aura has its own composition too. Is it a closed circle? Is it open? Is it airy? Is it tight and contained? Does it kind of fall off the edges of the canvas? Everything looks a little different depending on the person. I should note that I used Olga Soby's painting method. For those of you who are not pour painting experts, I highly recommend Olga's class. It teaches you all about the consistency of paint and how important that is. So I follow her mixing techniques to balance the flow and the structure of what I'm trying to get. I always do a few test runs on paper to see how the colors blend in the physical world compared to how I sense them in the energetic one. It's never exact using paper versus a canvas, but it does help me understand how the aura wants to express itself and how I'm mixing things and kind of the proportions of everything. And while I would say watching paint dry sounds really boring, it's actually really important because the paint dries darker than you anticipate. So I need to see that final step and that final outcome before I can commit to what to put on the total canvas. So then I set up the canvas, I take a deep breath, and I continue to pour. The painting becomes a collaboration between the aura, the paint, the movement. It shifts. It kind of turns into its own living thing, and sometimes it feels like spirit steps in and has its own opinion. That's the heart of my Aura POURA process. It's intuition meets technique, meets color, meets the canvas, and a little bit of spirit all added in. If you're ready to see me paint one of these auras and tell the story of that person's beautiful aura, stay tuned tomorrow as I publish my first video, and every Thursday after that. This is Aura POURA, and this is how I turn energy into art.